Welcome back to the show, Justend Best. Haven't seen you in a minute, my brother. How you been doing?
I've been pretty good, man. It's good to be back. I'm very excited, yo.
Good shit, man. A lot has been going on since the last time that you sat here, and we want to go through some of the current events, and we also want to get into some of the things that you got going on with your career. Is that cool?
That's a bet. Let's do it.
All right, man. Well, let's start off with recently Ice Cube has been going on this podcast tour speaking about the big three that he's put together and how the gatekeepers are holding him back. What do you think about that?
I've been hearing about him having trouble with that for a while. Since the beginning, him trying to start it up. The NBA or the leagues that are already going on right now don't want any more competition. And then he's been very successful with it. So I trust what Ice Cube's saying, 100%, because he's a real nigga. You already know. But you know how gatekeepers are when there's already so much money in the things they got going on. So I just think he's going to be all right, though. But it's just going to be a lot harder for him to do shit. He got the right players in the league, and he's getting the right publicity and stuff like that. He just got to keep pushing.
Now, in one of the interviews, because what you said was what the NBA said, he's competition. So being that he's competition, it wrote him out of NBA owners being able to do business with him, because part of their contract as an owner is you can't go to bed with the competition. But Ice Cube is saying, look, how are we competition? Number one, it's a whole different time, right? It's in the summertime when you're off.
Right.
It's 3-on-3. These are retired players, right? And I mean, some people are saying it could be because he's just a black man trying to overcome. Now he says, the black shit, no, he's not looking at that. But do you think the big three is really competition to the NBA? My question is, could it give them a run for their money in the future?
I don't really see a reason for them to be competition, to be honest, but I know they see it that way. But like you said, it's all retired players. It's during the summer. I didn't even know that, but it's all players that are retired. I think it'll be much more smarter to work together somehow. Put the money together. But the fact that he doesn't have the NBA, he's not able to do business with people in the NBA. He just has to go elsewhere to get his investments and stuff like that and get his help. It's a lot that he's just doing.
Very true. Okay, great answers, man. Now, moving on to something that's been, heating up the internet for almost 2-3 years now, but now it's like to the climax. YNW Melly is on trial for the murder of his friends. What do you think about that?
Shit's crazy, man. With all the evidence, does it show that I'm pretty sure that it showed that he did it, right?
Well, the evidence, there's no video and there's no audio, right? So there's no hardcore proof, but it's pointing at him.
It's pointing at him. I think there was bullet holes maybe in the car or something like that, and he dropped them off somewhere. I think it's crazy. It ain't none of my business, but he did that shit. like my man 50 said on Power about Ghost. That nigga lying. He did that shit. But nah, it's crazy, man. We all just in a different place right now. Everybody just killing each other, dying. It don't make no sense, bro. It's just crazy how people are so senseless right now, and it's just doesn't seem to affect them to take somebody else's life in all aspects. I've been losing a lot of people, and not even to just murders, but I actually did just lose a friend to a murder in Houston, and right now we just feel like we gotta prove ourselves or something. And another thing that's crazy is people there'll be dudes killing their girlfriends. That's been happening way too much. People putting their hands on women. We just in a weird place right now in the world. I don't know what's going on.
And someone asked me, well, told me, they just gave me a different perspective. They said, look, this has been going on in the world forever. It's just that social media now, we can see it all. Well, I mean, do you think that it's like that?
I think there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that, but social media also heightens things. So it's also the cause of it happening more, I feel like. But all of these crazy things have been happening many, many years. Serial killers, all type of shit like that. But, we're just becoming desensitized. I think that's the word. But like, I remember I lost a friend maybe 2 months ago. And like I wasn't really sad. Like it didn't really process for me. It took a while to process. So then I took shrooms, and then I started feeling everything. I'm like, and then realizing that like we're so used to that shit, bro. Like we're so used to just seeing people die. I'll be scrolling on Twitter. It's not even like something that I look at, so it shouldn't be in my feed. You understand? I understand seeing basketball and ass on my timeline and shit and on my For You page or something. But it's like they're forcing it into us. You know what I'm saying? Pause. It's like they're forcing it onto us, just to see this shit. And like, I be seeing fights all the time. I scroll right past it because I'm not going to let that, seep into my mind and just change the way I think. It's crazy.
Well, do you think that there's a engineering behind this? I want to say, or is it just that people are now? Did COVID do it? Like, what's going on? Do you think?
I think it's some kind of engineering, and it's just what sells toxicity and horror and just shit like that sells. It's what people want to see, unfortunately. I mean, I'm kind of the same way because the only movies I watch are scary movies and thrillers and shit like that. So that's kind of where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just kind of normal now, which is something we need to change.
Very true. Now, recently in entertainment news, Boosie was picked up by the feds.
Man, my man.
You recall that, right?
Yeah.
Now, initially, he had a gun charge in San Diego for doing a music video with some locals. And then he went to court. The gun charge was dropped completely. On his way outside of court, the feds picked him up.
On something else.
Now, is he talking too much online, or what do you think is going on?
Boozy is gonna be boozy, and that's why we love him. I've seen a few times. I go on his live quite often because he's very entertaining. So I've seen quite a few times when he had that thing on, so maybe he shouldn't be on there like that. But it's not like a lot. He don't be talking about having it, But I definitely feel like he's the type of dude that you gonna have to catch him with it, but you won't catch him without. You know what I'm saying? So
Very true.
my man be on live for like 4 hours straight. He do this shit like, but I mean that's his way. You know what I'm saying? That's his way. That's him. You know what I'm saying? That's people love to see it
Boosie is the people's champ. So
for sure.
now, recently, a lot of rappers been getting exposed. I don't know if you heard, but Finesse Two Times recently they came out with some paperwork from when he was a juvenile. He snitched on a robbery when he was when he was a juvenile. And Whack 100 even actually got the guy he snitched, his co-defendant, on Clubhouse, and he told the whole thing, right?
Wow.
And it's true, you know what I mean, guys. But you got Finesse Two Times, you got Gunna, all of these rappers. My question for you is this: does that matter? Is it important?
Oh, right now, that don't matter. I mean, you can be a snitch, but as long as you put out good music and good product, you'll be alright. You can kind of think about it when it comes to Kanye, because we get upset with him all the time. Like, especially with the White Lives Matter, I think, shirts or something like that. If he put out a good album, we welcome him back. That's kind of how we are right now. And like, we just need to, get back to the real shit.
Well, let me ask you this: black man to black man, right? So people online can hear two black men answering this question, you answering it. Why is it in the black community, it's so important to not be a snitch. Because I want to say this, it's not like that in any other community. Why do black people hold it at such a high regard to not snitch?
It's been one of our practices for a very long time. So I don't even think I could tell you why, but I mean, I kind of understand because if you gonna do the crime too, don't tell on your mans. Like, if you there doing it, there's different. You know, there's a snitch and a rat, and then there's pedestrians. You know what I'm saying? That's different. If a pedestrian is saying something, you're not in that world. You just saw something. Like, but if you there doing it with your man and you get caught and he don't or whatever, or y'all both get caught and you just spilling the beans, that's not honorable. And you know that's the thing. You know, amongst black people, we're all about being honorable. You know, being loyal, being real, and that has to be why. And but right now, if you just putting out good product and people love you and want to see you, you good. Gunna's right back. He came right back with that album. You know, I haven't really listened to it thoroughly. I listened to a couple songs, but you know, he put out good music, so he good.
Great answer, man. Great answer. Moving on. Now, what do you think about this whole Jamie Foxx fiasco?
Oh man,
Now hold on. Now, it's a bunch of people online saying it's a clone, it's the fake Jamie, it's his stunt double. Hold on, they're saying he wasn't really messed up the way they said. It was a publicity stunt. What do you think about it?
people just social media is just gonna. They can't sit around and wait and be patient. They're gonna have to make stuff up. They're gonna have to give their own theories on what's going on, and with these different Instagram pages and the places we get our news now, you know, our urban news, they putting out, you know, information before they have the full story. Like I could have sworn it was somebody in the hospital that Jamie was at that told that he was in the hospital. So that's how everybody found out that he was having these health problems. See, stuff like that, like, and then just putting information out before you know the whole story. Like, people really don't know what's going on with him. Only him and his family know. But people gonna always make up things. They have to, you know, because people want to be focused on other people's lives so much. That's what it's about.
Social media.
Social media, and now we got threads. That's crazy. Like that shit is like it's like Twitter. I mean,
It's like they say, you know, because Zuckerberg and Elon are supposed to fight, so they say that that's a shot. That's Mark Zuckerberg saying, you know, fuck you with the big middle finger. I'll recreate your app my way, and you know, so it's like a shot before the
has
fight.
had some of the most subscribers in the first couple of days. You know, I don't know, man, but I think Twitter will always be there. But yeah, it was definitely a shot at him, a good shot. Pause. Like it was definitely a good shot at him. And and I hate that I had to adapt with it. I didn't want to get on it, but my homeboy, my business partner, he told me, he said, man, you know, we don't want to be late on this wave. Like we've been on a couple others just because we were being stubborn and didn't want to download another app. Cause I was like, come on, man. But it was interesting. I also think he got a lot of subscribers because of how easy he made it to make the profile. So all you had to do was go on Instagram and click a button, and it take you right there. Your profile's already set up. It's the same picture from your Instagram, and you can change your bio, but that's it. And then it gives you an option. It says, do you want to follow everybody that you follow on Instagram? You can click that button, or you can just go through and select who you want. So I think that made it interesting for a lot of people. And the main page, the home page, it's kind of interesting because it's a little different from Twitter because you can see people that you don't follow as well. So it's kind of a way to get yourself out there for, you know, people that you've never seen before to see you. It's crazy. It's interesting.
So it opens up the web a little bit more. Like to be honest, that's how it used to be, where you could see if you're online, I could just see you versus I can only see who I follow and 10% of them now and blah, blah, blah. Seems like he's going more, like you said, you can see outside of your box.
Yeah, because Instagram is the algorithm has been messed up for a long time, um, for some reason, and you can also see people. You'll see people that you don't follow on there too because they'll have their photos sponsored or whatever. Um, and you'll see pictures from people that you follow like 3 days after they posted it. Like you're like, damn, they posted this the other day. I never seen it. Like the algorithm just all over the place. I don't know. It's interesting to see where it's gonna go. I'm not very excited about it, but the AI shit is really was crazy. That's the shit we really need to be trying to focus on and see where they're going with it because everybody's doing shit like I forgot the name of that app, but they're making an AI version of themselves. Everybody's been doing it, and some people doing it'll show you a baby that you might have, like a baby that looks just like you or something like that. But you're uploading these pictures and not reading the terms and conditions. And I found out that in the terms and conditions, they say that you're giving them permission to take your photos and your likeness for any future apps that they do or any future updates that they do, and they can use them and use you. It's crazy.
Well, I believe that by way of phone and apps, Americans been sold their souls off. I mean, as long as it's a hot app, we just next, 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 next. And inside of those next, it says, I own you. I could do this. I could go inside your phone and read your contacts. I can blah, blah, blah. And we're just so hyped about the app. We next, 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 next. So we're beyond, and good thing you're thinking like that, but the average person isn't thinking, even though that information you're providing, they're still gonna.
Oh yeah, they're still gonna do it regardless. It's scary though because if you can take somebody's voice, like they're making songs, they're taking like baby Michael Jackson and putting him on a trap song to sing the words to like Yo Gotti or something or Moneybag Yo or something, and it sounds just like him. So like if they can take that shit, imagine what they could do with your likeness, calling somebody to, hey man, I need to wire me this and that to this account, and you thinking it's 50 Cent, but it's the nigga up the street. He using AI. Like we gonna have to watch that shit.
So do you think that the criminals, let's say 4 or 5, maybe 10 years from now, they're gonna have AI adapted into the way that they commit crimes?
You know the scammers. Everything that we get, they gonna be on it, son. They gonna figure out a way to get some money. Shit, more power to them.
You know, on this topic a little bit, the strike that's going on right now. We have we have the writers and now the actors are joining them. From what I heard that a major part of the strike has to do with the writers, has to do with AI. The studios replacing them with AI. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Now they not gonna need us in many ways. Kind of like with factories replacing workers with machines. That's where we're headed in the entertainment world. So I mean, I don't know. They've already made AI like artists already. Like, so I don't really know how you're gonna have to stand out in the future, but it's gonna be very tricky. It's gonna be a tricky world for sure.
Well, a little bit of advice. I'll just say this, right? I think that it's making it easier for people to do what they should have been doing. Because the more the studios now push people off, like any other thing, the more they push people off, the more people are going to say, you know what? I'm going to get with him, and we're going to grab our own camera, and we're going to write our thing, and we're going to put it on YouTube or Tubi. And because it's now like I'm forced in a way. Like I still want to be creative, but Universal is saying we don't need your creativity no more. So I still have to let it out somewhere else, the outlet. I did 2 movies on my own. You know, I did the whole, and the funny thing is, this is my first time having a camera of this quality. I did it with cheap cameras, no audio setup really, just ambition, drive, and I made a lot of money off of both of those movies. And I became popular in that region, that I released the movies. So I think it's gonna push people more toward, like, right now, if you were going out for movies and they're like, oh, we're on strike, we no more movies, you still have to create movies somewhere, right? So you would be open to a me or an independent person saying, come on, man, I want you to be the star guy and blah, blah, blah. And 5, 10, I just feel like 5, 10, 20 projects of that could be equivalent to a big major look. Because if you look at some of these actors, you have some that are like, let's take Samuel L. Jackson, for example. Samuel L. Jackson has been in more movies than like any actor in history, right? Samuel L. Jackson became who he was here at this level eventually because of all of the Gators that he played, and the Spike Lees and whatever it is. So I just say, as an actor, my advice is stay open to anyone that's coming at you with a good opportunity. If it's a great script and they have ambition and they have a way to get it done, those are going to be the avenues that show your raw talent. You get a better opportunity to shine.
I appreciate that. And you know what else? I've been noticing is, you saying people doing things on their own and, figuring it out. People like Boozy, BoozyMovie.com.
Right.
Everybody heard that before because he said it so much. Like, he got his website for his movies, his cologne. You coming straight to him for that shit. He not going through a third party. It's straight to him. Stuff like that, that's the way to do it. Independence is where we're headed. I ain't gonna lie, I would like a label's help, though. I'll take a little label help. But independence is where we're headed, though.
Label help is great.
I'll
I always advise people, look, if a label wants to come in and help you, you got to know that they're going to spend millions of dollars on you. You don't have millions of dollars to spend on yourself. Allow them to spend the millions of dollars, because if they make a few good moves, just a few, they don't even have to make the big move where you may walk and leave the label and never had a hit song, but you have tons more popularity. And with that popularity now, you can make yourself some money forever. Now, let me ask you about this, man. I really wanted to ask you about this too. Adam 22.
Oh, God. He's wildin'.
What do you think about that situation?
He is wildin'. I mean, of course, it's for clout, for people to look at it. I mean, it's working. I'm sure they're making money off of it, but that couldn't be me. That just ain't how I roll. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's wildin'. And the things he was saying, like, they even interviewed her and said it took her like a while to get back right. Like, they had to even take a break from each other. Like, her and Adam couldn't even do nothing after that. Like, it's wild, bro. Like, he's on some other shit, bro. But I mean, he a porn star, so yeah. That's his area. That's the kind of shit they do.
Well, that was his first time allowing her to have sex with someone else besides him in the porn scene.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I guess they came to a consensus. It ain't gonna be in my household. No.
Now, what do you think about Keke Palmer and her baby daddy?
Oh,
right now?
man. Keke.
If you were in her baby daddy's shoes, right?
Yeah.
And you're home, she said, I'm going to the Usher concert. And you look
Right there is when I'm saying, no, you're not. Nah, I'm just playing. Cause Usher done did it to Joe Budden girl. It was somebody else too. That's how he do though. You know what I'm saying? They love it. I heard Usher show was a great show. I love to go to it. He got that nice residency in Vegas. But I think that Keke was. I didn't think it was so much of the outfit that he was upset with. That's what he said. But I think it was how she was acting a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You can keep it a little cuter than that, but she won't wildin'. That's how she gonna be that's how girls are when they out with their friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Usher. It's Usher.
So, as a man, are you saying that he was just a little insecure?
He wasn't.
Because would you have reacted in that same manner?
Nah, not publicly. That's something. That's a conversation you have with her in your own home. Um, I think it was a little sucker move to do it online and stuff like that. Like, to mess up her image. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not something you do. He could have did it a different way, but I do see why he felt that way. 100%. He wasn't too much out of the wrong. I don't think so. She could have relaxed a little bit, arms all around his neck. Like, come on. Shit, like, relax.
That's Usher.
It's Usher. It's Usher though. You gotta realize that too. It's Usher. Joe Budden ain't had no problem. He told his girl, "Go ahead." She stood up. Usher spun her around, sat her down, chilling. She ain't do all that.
Well, yeah, that's Usher. Now, speaking of rappers and singers, Drake recently said that "This Is America" by Childish Gambino was over awarded.
Yeah.
What do you think? Me personally, I always said that when you listen to the lyrics, he not really saying much, but the video is extremely creative and the beat is banging. And that one part, "This is America," don't catch you slipping. Like, but do you think Drake was right about it being over awarded?
I think it was a big song. I think it was a great song. I feel like he was just being a little salty because Childish Gambino had said originally that was a Drake diss, and he heard that and he used the very big term, some rich nigga shit. It's just over awarded. That's coming straight from a nigga that got a lot of awards. But nah, it was a big song, man. It was just a little salty. That's all it was.
Drake doing a little hate.
You know how you do. He a Scorpio. I am too.
Okay, now what do you think about recently the Billboard put out a list of all the best rap groups of all time? Did you happen to see that list at all?
I didn't really see it, but I know that Outkast was in an interesting spot, right?
Outkast was number one, the best rap group of all time. Is that something you agree with or disagree?
Who was second? Do you know who's second? Like,
I'm not sure who was second.
Cause the Wu, where would the Wu have to go? Wu have to be top 5.
They was top 5.
I don't think it's too crazy, but people don't give enough respect to Big Boy. You know what I'm saying? They put all the weight on Andre 3000, but they're not. It's not a crazy thing to say. They could be. I could see them being the number 1 group
Of all time.
of all time. There's a lot of groups. Criss Cross. There's a lot of different groups. Like
When I thought about it,
Migos was high too. I heard.
Migos was, when I thought about it, because being from the North, they're not my favorite group to listen to. But I did live in Atlanta for 10 years, so I'm familiar with, and it did grow on me eventually. But when I thought about it, I said, well, what group actually consistently put out as many platinum back-to-backs as this group? And can you come up with one?
No, yeah, I definitely see that.
Because I couldn't think of any.
All they shit sold for sure. And we talking rap groups, right?
Yeah, rap groups. And it seems like Outkast, as they went on and on until they decided to quit, it seems like they were getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I can't even think of one right now. I mean, let's try to name somebody else. Another rap group. The Clips.
Nah, you can't compare
Okay,
them.
you can't.
They're a great group, but you can't compare that shit at all.
But I like their album though.
I like the album too, but their numbers, not Outkast numbers. I mean, the Wu-Tang would be the closest that I would say is, if you want consistency of numbers, because as a group they probably only put out 3 albums. I think they were like
That one
successful.
album don't really count.
Yeah,
That last one,
that last one,
it
right?
don't really.
And then, but they consistently put out those individual albums that
That were
gave them
hits
the
too.
stretch.
That were hits, and they still touring right now. So that's why they top 5 though. We would definitely have to see the list. I'm trying to think of one more at least. Another rap group. They not always brothers.
There is none.
It might have to be Outkast.
Yeah, it's Outkast.
Damn. Well, like I said, it wasn't nothing too crazy to say. So, yeah, I could agree with that.
Facts. Now, moving on to some social things that's been going on. Recently, there was a video of a man punching a woman inside of the restaurant. Her 14-year-old son comes in and shoots the man, kills the man. They arrest them for murder, and then they drop the charges on the mother and the son, and they both get out. Two-part question. Number one, would you have done that for your mother? That's number one. And number two, were they in the wrong or the right?
Well, I would have done it for my mother, and they weren't in the wrong. He was protecting his mom, and the other dude was like hitting her so much for no reason. That brings it back to the point I said earlier. Men are getting too comfortable putting their hands on women. Somebody need to stop this shit. Somebody need to step up like how things used to be. You know, but I heard somebody say he came for a burger and left with wings. That's crazy. Niggas, the internet is wild. But I mean, you gotta keep your hands to yourself. Putting your hands on a woman like that, like you don't have to beat her like that, bro. Like, it was wild. I mean, they wasn't wrong at all. Self-defense.
I totally agree. Now, what do you think about the billionaires who took the submersible
Oh man.
down to the bottom to see the Titanic and it crushed them or whatever? 2 parts again. Is that something that you would try, given a better submarine, a Russian submarine, you know what I mean, a more protective situation? Is that something you would try, number one? And number two, what do you think of that? What are your thoughts on it?
Man, to be honest, I don't know, man, because I'm very open-minded about stuff. And I feel like if somebody would have brought that to me, I don't know, I would have definitely looked into it and see what it would be like. But I'm not sure if I would do that. Like, I would definitely be interested in it though. What was the second question?
What do you think about that overall? With them,
Oh
the
yeah,
submersible was made of a joystick.
it's crazy, man. It wasn't done well. Yeah, like you said, it was like a console controlling it, and you can't open it from the outside or something like that. Like it was sealed. It wasn't done properly. It's crazy that you know how rich people are, man. They paid all that money, man, to go down there and do that shit. Yeah, it's just sometimes people put themselves in situations when they just got so much money they don't know what to do with it. That's all that is. It's crazy. It's sad though. It's definitely sad.
Yeah, man, and my condolences to the family members, of those people.
100%.
What do you think about all this crazy UFO talk that's been coming out recently? Like, I mean, do you believe that there's some aliens out there, or is that just a bunch of, bullshit?
I don't know, man.
I mean,
I
what
don't
are your
really.
thoughts on it?
I don't know if I believe in aliens, man. I ain't really had no encounter in that. I might believe in ghosts or something, but
Because, in Las Vegas recently, they had that big thing where supposedly something fell from the sky and these people called. Did you hear about that? They
no, I
called
actually didn't.
911.
I actually didn't.
Yeah, they called 911 and they said, look, these things are in our backyard back here. They're not human at all.
Oh
And the
shit.
police came, but by the time the police came, they weren't there. The wreckage wasn't there. But so what do you think? Because the government right now is coming out with all this this UFO talk.
Yeah. Uh, it's got to be something. It's something for them to talk about it and spend all this money on the research and stuff like that and the time. It's something. Um, we just gotta get more information. It's always they always know more than what they're telling us. So we're not gonna know the actual true facts until a couple years.
Very true. Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Okay, now, what do you think about all of these TikTok challenges that are getting these kids killed? You know, recently, I don't know if you heard about this new boat challenge. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's wild, man. Everybody trying to jump on the wave. It's not the first time. People used to do crazy shit. People used to the cinnamon challenge. That was wild. People have been doing wild shit for a minute. We just need to stop jumping on these waves, man. That's all it is. Yeah, that boat challenge was wild. Like, just everybody trying to fit in. Everybody trying to go viral. That's all it is.
Everybody trying to do some numbers on social media. Okay, now a few more questions. We're gonna move a little bit more into like relationship type topics. Recently, there was a woman online. Just today, it actually hit online. She said that men really don't want women with low body counts. Now, her reasoning,
What?
her reasoning is because when you get it, she can't give good oral. She don't know how to arch her back right. She can't ride right. She's not experienced. Now you're complaining to the homies, right? Which I looked at that and said, I think she's right? Because I'm like, I don't want nobody that's not, if you can't do it right, I'm frustrated. Like, why ain't you? But you still want them with the low body count, but know how to do it right. Is that, I mean, an oxymoron? What do you think about her saying that?
It's definitely an oxymoron. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too. And in a lot of cases, a low body count, they're not gonna really know what they're doing. I could definitely see dudes, cause dudes out here are grimy. Dudes out here are nasty. I could definitely see them being okay with a girl having a really high body count. Of course, I would love for her to have a low body count, um, whether we have to learn together or not. You know what I'm saying? But it's whoever, whatever floats your boat, man. It's different for everybody. Cause I'm not like them niggas. I'm not like Adam. I'm not like them niggas. So I can't get into their brain and understand why. I can't get into their brain and understand why it's okay to them and why they feel like this is something that attracts them and why this floats their boat.
Like rappers, when they become successful, most of them date the strippers. And I think Zion recently,
Oh,
his situation, right? Kind of the same thing. Like these girls are high body count women that they're giving all the money to, having the sex with, unprotected.
see, they be into them. They be into these porn stars. I mean, they nice to look at, but I
Why do
don't
you
really
think
want.
so?
I don't really want one, but it's happening. It's definitely happening. Rappers is paying them. Rappers been paying them. I ain't never paid for it, so like I said, I can't understand that. But I think it's just it's kind of boosts them up. You know what I'm saying? Like I had Alexis Texas. I had this person. Like that's all it is. It's ego. It's mostly about ego most of the time.
I give you my opinion. I want you to tell me what you think of it.
Okay.
When you're successful, 5, 10 million in the bank, doing shows every night, girls trying to rip off your shirt, sex is everywhere. It's every night. Sometimes you choose, sometimes you don't. I think that the woman who can deal with that is going to be the stripper or the porn girl. She can deal with who you are without you having to lie about who you are. Now, you being this person with a regular woman, how's that going to work out with you lying to her all the time? I was on the road for 6 months. No, I ain't screw nobody. You done had threesomes. You done did it all. How would that eventually? I just believe that they get to a point where they know they're gonna be nasty, on the road, living their life. When you rich and it's coming like that, fuck it, that's what I'm gonna do. And I don't want to hide it now. And when you're dealing with a regular woman, you're gonna have to hide it or not do it.
I can see that, Tone. I can see that. There's definitely 100% truth in that, because those are the type of women that'll be able to deal with that and wouldn't even care. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing what you do. But there's also different situations. We can take it back to the Wu. I watched the Wu-Tang documentary on Hulu, and Ghostface, he was dating RZA's sister, and she told him, do what you do on the road. Come back home, don't bring that shit back home. And they had a problem with it within their little group, but see, there's situations. She wasn't out there going around messing with other people too. You know what I'm saying? And Ghostface wasn't even wilding like that. So there's situations, you just got to find that right.
So what you're saying is there's some women out there that regular women that'll sit home and take care, that can accept you out here having fun doing your thing.
I think there's a few of them, but it ain't like a thing. There's a few of them. There's situations, like I said, it's shit. But nah, there's truth to that. The women that are in that world, you can do your thing. I agree with you. Nah, it's different.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's just the lifestyle matches. Because I had a record dealer one time and I was moving fast, and the average girl who was working a 9 to 5, no matter how much I liked her, she liked me, it couldn't work. But the girls at the video sets, it could work because they're at my video set, they're at T.I. video set, they're at Killer Mike. So when I see you, we do what we do. When you see, no feelings, because she's just trying to make it. So she'll do what she do with me, but then when T.I. come around, she's like, oh, she's acting the same way with him because he's even bigger. Let me try. So there's really no emotions involved in, and you can do what you want to do, right? Versus my girlfriend who was home working the 9 to 5, it was all love, emotions, don't lie to me, don't cheat, no girls. And I was like, it's just not gonna work because I'm gonna do the girl thing, and then I don't want to lie to you, and I'm doing so much of it. It just, as when you become a man, you feel like you want to live a life of just, hey, this is who I am. You either with it or you're not.
Yeah, you're gonna go through that as a man.
Yeah,
you're gonna go through that.
It's a young face thing. I'll say
100%. But did you actually, speaking of Killer Mike, did you hear his new album?
I have not heard it, but I heard a few songs on it.
He's nice, man. He got Andre on there. He got Erykah Badu on there.
I heard that song.
Yeah, and yeah, he's rapping like he rap, And he got the church in it. I love it. He got the choir. I just, it's got to be album of the year. It's got to be. I don't know what else came out for it. It's got to be. And I remember, didn't they say it's been a while since hip hop had a #1 album? I mean, this is the first time that hip hop hasn't had a #1 album.
I think Lil Uzi Vert album just did that for the first time in 2023. It's like the number coming out. He's selling like 200-something thousand the first week. It was just the first #1 hip hop album of the year, Lil Uzi Vert.
Yeah, and they said it was different. I heard, like rock. He's yelling on it.
Look at him. He looks different.
Yeah. He's pleasing his fan base, and it's going well for him for sure.
I love to see an artist who doesn't have a box. If I like the music or not, it's just beyond me at that point. I just feel like when as an older guy, when I saw Ice-T do Cop Killer and this rock shit, I enjoyed it because I just like the fact that because he was known as a gangster and a pimp. And to see him as this rock guy was like completely out of the box. And he did that. So I enjoy that. Now, a few more questions. We almost finished here, but these are important. Do single women keep women single?
Yeah, definitely. It always be that single friend just talking in her ear, talking bad about you all the time. You got to get that advice from people that are in a relationship. You got to talk to people that are in a relationship. That's the problem with a lot of people. Sometimes people tell other people too much about what's going on in your relationship. That's some stuff you need to keep in the house. But yeah, single women definitely keep other women single.
So if you were a married man, let's just say, right? Would you be okay with your wife having all single friends?
I mean, I don't think I would care, but I know that would mean them going out places and shit and being, going out a lot probably since they single. Um, I don't think it would bother me because in my relationships, there's trust. There ain't all that extra shit. There ain't gonna be no jealousy and stuff like that. I just move and operate different.
Okay. Does social media affect relationships nowadays?
Yeah, 100%. It's the worst thing that ever happened to relationships. Social media, from Snapchat, Instagram, every piece of it. Threads ain't gotten nobody in trouble yet, but I'm sure it will. Like, because it just opens up your mind and you can see more of what's out there, and it's a lot more temptation out there. You know how men are. You know how we are. So, you know how we are when we go out. So imagine how we gonna be when we on Instagram or something.
Explain how we are, brother.
Well, we're gonna be flirtatious. We're gonna be flirtatious. We're gonna, like a photo. Like, damn, we're gonna look like that's all it is. So imagine what we're gonna do on Instagram. It's crazy.
Well, look, here's my question.
Yeah.
What are the percentages of, because Kevin Samuels used to talk about this a lot. Yeah, God bless the dead. When young women are in the ages of, and I try to run them, tell them the truth, I do. When they're in the ages of 20 to 30 and you're dating men your same age, what are the chances of that, lasting forever? I guess for me as a man, I'd say, it's a few I've seen do it, but usually for a man, I don't know how it is for women, but I know for men, the 20s is for fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, that's 100% true.
Unless you got the one from high school already, kind of a deal.
And there's dudes like that.
Yeah, it's a few like that, but most of the men you meet, they don't have the one from, they ran through some in high school, but you're still not with the one from high school, and now you're 23, like, we going out tonight, we going to have some fun.
And the girl trying to get married.
Yes.
At 23.
What is that? I mean, because he used to try to bring them to reality and say, listen, during that time of a man's life, you can't really take him too serious unless that foundation was already put there. What do you think?
Yeah. I think it's very.
Like if you had a sister, do you have a sister?
Yeah, I do.
She's in her 20s.
No, 18 maybe.
Oh,
now.
she's about to be there.
Yeah.
What would you tell, like she's 23 with a 23, 24, saying,
And you know what he's doing.
what are you going to tell her?
Well, I do tell her that same thing Kevin Samuels was saying. A man is, especially in college, he's going to be a man. He's going to have to experiment, explore. But sometimes it's definitely different. You might find those that are loyal. I know a lot of good dudes, that ain't mess around on their girl or have to have a bunch of girls. You just got to find that one for you. But most of the time, in their 20s, men are just gonna try to live life. They still trying to figure it out. They got a lot of ego shit to deal with. We got a lot of ego shit to deal with. So, we're gonna explore and experiment. That's all it is. And with women, they just feel like, they ain't got much time. They want to be married, kids by 30 and stuff like that. But it's just different for men. We got time. Kevin Samuels was right. If a woman really is ready in her 20s, she gonna have to be with a man that's at least 30. Because he's probably, got everything in order. He's ready to chill out. He's ready to start, being a real man. Even though in your 20s you can be a real man, but, really start paying mortgages and shit like that. Like, real shit.
Foundation, like building a solid foundation. Gotcha. Hey man, first I want to say it's always a pleasure having you come through. We got to do this at least once a month, man. We have to.
100%. I'm gonna have to. You're not far, bro. I'm gonna pull up on you.
Now, Just tell the people, more about what you got coming up, movies, records, anything you want to say. And make sure you share your social media.
Yeah, yeah. Well, of course I got an album coming out soon. It'll be out in about 2 3 weeks. It's called Prepare for the Worst, Praying for the Best. And I definitely think this is the best album I have right now. I just keep getting better and better. I mix, record, and master all my shit by myself, and I just gave myself a little new sound now, and I kind of bring out my voice more. It's kind of like I love how Kanye's voice. He's the main thing on his song. Like when he talks, that's all you hear. You hear the music in the back, but he's the main thing, the main focus. So I just kind of changed my sound a little bit, and I just think this is the album. I got about 11 songs on there. I just shot a movie a couple weeks ago called The Influencer. Be out next year. With TV, it's very different because like you can put a record out, you can do a record and then put it out, but with TV, you gonna shoot it. It's not gonna be out for a couple months. They gotta edit it. They gotta do this and that, take it to screenings and stuff like that. It's very interesting. I just did a TV show, Pictionary, with John Sally, I think Larry O'Connell or something like that. I only really knew John Sally. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of acting because that's what's paying. That's what's paying right now. I haven't really made a lot of money from music right now. I get a little something in TuneCore, but I'm able to book these acting gigs, quick. You know what I'm saying? And all right, come here and shoot this day for $100 for 2 hours, or come shoot this day. You'll be here for 4 hours on set for this amount of money. Like, getting it quick. With music, you still gotta build your fan base. I'm still paying sometimes to perform. That's one thing I said I was gonna stop doing, but it depends on the venue. It depends on who's there. It depends on what you're asking for. Because I've had people ask me $500 for 15 minutes. I'm like, no, that's not. What is that gonna do? Where is the venue? How many people is gonna be there? Somebody said $100 for 2 songs to perform 2 songs. I'm like, so it's just a different process with music. That's all it is.
Well, hey, man, I look forward to listening to the new album, anything that you have coming out on television. I look forward to seeing that and supporting that, as well as any of my subscribers out here that's watching this. Make sure you go and support the brother.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me everywhere. Just type in Justend Best, Justend with an E, Best. Instagram, Justend D Best. Yeah, like I said, just type in my name. You can find me anywhere. You can just Google it if you need to.
Any shout outs or last words?
Hey, man, keep living because people keep dying.
We gone.